Hey everybody, it's Erin and we are back playing with my Christmas kit. And this time we are going to do the prep work for a December daily. Now, most people, December daily, you start December 1st, you have a book and you go through and you kind of add a picture or something each day. For me, I might add a picture, but for each day it's going to be some sort of little artwork, a little something, and they're going to fit inside of these little baggies. So it's my December art, daily art, my December daily something. It could be just a handwritten note that I pop in there. It could be a picture of something that happened that day. It could be a picture stub that's going on, or it could be a little something I've created. I could kind of go a lot of different directions with it. So I have 25 little paper bags, as you can see right here. They're a perfect little size, and they're just going to get numbered 1 through 25. I'm only going to go up to the 25th because otherwise this book would just be gigantic. Also, at the end of this video is a chance to win this entire kit. So just make sure you stay tuned to the end. Today we're doing, like I said, the prep work, and I've already kind of started a little bit of it. I only have, and this is the base of the book, so many pages inside my book, and I completely just put that on backwards. So this is the beginning of my book right here. And it's a chipboard. It's a heavy duty. It comes with the rings right here. And like I said, I'm kind of getting the bone started, but then I'll be able to come in here every day and just do a little tinkering. Or maybe I'll just do 3 or 4 days at one time. It depends on what I have available because December gets kind of crazy, right? So as you can see, I already kind of have a plan in mind with my folders. So all this stuff you see here is in the kit. I haven't pulled anything new out. This is all in the kit, which is fun. All these little pretty folders, the chipboard pieces, the cardstock, these little pieces here. So what I have done, because I don't have enough pages, and my thought is to have 2 days per side. Obviously the front cover is going to be a front cover, and then inside is going to be 2 days. So this will be like day 1, day 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, and here's my problem. 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, and then I might have just an image on some side, and then I'm going to leave the entire back side for 25. Works for me. So if I put in 2 extra sheets that I have cut, and I've just taken some sheet of cardstock paper, and this one came from a very busy paper, but beautiful. I'll show you. It was this one, and this piece was left over from my Christmas tree cards, which you see here. And I just cut off and I measured off the size of what this piece is. And I'm not going to put them back to back. I'm actually going to embed them within the book itself. So that's part of the other thing, is that I'm trying to figure out what order everything's going to go into. And this piece was just a giant sheet of paper, and this is the first time I've opened this up. So this was a whole sheet of this snowflake paper. And again, I cut it down to size. I am trying to decide if I want to leave the backside blank, like as a craft or as an ivory, or if I want to get a second sheet of paper, and I might, just to give it that much extra oomph, because they're just paper. It's not heavy duty cardstock like this is. So I might do that again. Still have yet to figure these things out. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to embed one of them somewhere in the middle here. So if I go 1, 2, and then here, there's a spot, another 1, 2, and then there's a spot, and then that kind of evens it out a bit. I'm not going to 100% put this together because I want to leave a few fun things for me to do as December rolls around. But I do know, and I'm going to do this today, is this is one of the papers that came in the kit. It's the Tattered Angels Origins papers, and it's a little bit of a thicker paper, and this is going to be my front cover. I've also decided the Christmas tree here, which is from the same kit. These other 2 sheets came from there as well. I'm going to cut, and I'm just going to trim off, and the Christmas tree, even though it's the wrong direction, I don't care, because I want my book to be horizontal, not vertical, is going to go on the back. So that's kind of the beginnings of my book. So I am pulling out my mists here. And inside this kit, I hope to open it up. So inside we have a caper green. So it's a green with a little hint of a gold in there. We have a medallion, which is a gold. It's a yellow with a gold. We have a red with a hint of a silver in there. And then we have a white chalkboard. So these 2 are actually chalkboards, which means they're more of a matte finish, whereas these ones are kind of a translucent finish, which is kind of fun. So my first step is I am actually going to take my mists and I'm going to paint my reindeer scene to a point. I'm not going to fully do it. I just want to kind of capture a few things, and then we're going to decorate our front page. Now, I do know, and I want to trim this off to size real fast, is that, just to remeasure this again, this is 5 1/4 inches tall, and this is 6. So if this is 5 1/4, I gotta do my math. I can't do an even cut on this. I'm going to cut off 1/4 inch. My brain does not want to function today. And then 1/4 inch. And it's still going to be a tiny bit big. I got to figure out how to make this even, because I'm just a smidge. You know what? I'm going to do another 1/4 inch, 1/4 inch, because then it'll even up and it'll be just a tiny bit smaller. I know I'm off camera here. I'm sorry. It happens. I get too much crap on my desk. And this isn't the only thing I want to put on here. So now this fits nicely, and I have room to actually back this with something else. I'm thinking my burlap that's over here. Now, some people might want to paint their board, but I like the rawness of it, but I am going to ink it. That's just me. I'm an inker. Just to kind of give it that finished look. So I'm going to come through and do the edge of this. I'm going to do is I'm going to take my red mist and I'm just going to take the top off. I'm not actually going to mist it right now. And I'm going to come in and I'm going to very carefully and just use it like a watercolor. I'm going to paint my Santa. Now, not everything on here is going to get painted, so it's just going to get a very brief coating of a few colors. See, it just goes on very nicely, just like a very cute little watercolor. Just like that. Do his little cuff there. I'm not trying to make for perfection here. Get his hat. I probably did the wrong thing on there. I think his cuff was supposed to be white. Whoops. I'm also going to come in and just do a couple of little random toys. And I'm going to speed this up, and I'm going to continue using some of the colors in here and picking up various things. Like I might try and come in here with the white. I don't know if you're going to see that or not on there, but I'll just see what I can get out of it. And just doing some fun coloration on here. And there we go. So if you did notice, I took these 3 colors and I mixed it to make a brown, which is how I got the other color for the reindeer, which are a little more reddish than I'd want them to be. But you know what? They're reindeer. They can be whatever the heck I want them to be. They're flying reindeer. They're mythical. Not the real reindeer, the flying ones. These guys don't exist, but it looks like they're kind of on snow. So maybe they're more realistic than I think they are. Okay, I am again going to ink the edges of this in black. And this paper took wonderfully to me watercoloring. It didn't bleed, it absorbed it wonderfully, which means that it's not gonna have problems coming from one to the other. And I just stuck with the 4 colors I had. You know, you can blend them and you can make it lighter or darker. If you take these 2, you can make a lighter color. You know, you can always morph them by mixing them together, because it is paint in a lot of ways. So when you think about it, mist is paint. And why I went with the white, I think it just made myself feel better by putting white on his beard and white for snow. Not that you can see it, let me tell you. I think I just, you know, helped myself. I also, just to show you how I cleaned it, is I had a paper towel and I just had water. That's all this was water. And I was spraying my paintbrush and then just wiping it to clean it, so I didn't have to have a cup of water, because inevitably I would probably spill that too. Good chance. Okay, so this is going to go on here, but I want to do a little something with it. I want to add a background. And because I added so much red, I want to see how funny. Actually, it looks really good. We're going to go with that. All right, I'm actually going to go a little bit less than the height because I don't want to overtake and overpower the width of my book. So since I cut this down to be a smaller size, double check the size I cut this to. This was cut down to 5 inches. We are going to cut this to be 4 inches, but we're going to do is try and save a little space on it. Now, this doesn't really cut that well on your paper trimmer, but I'm using it more as a guideline mark. So I can come in with my scissors, and I can mark it. So since there's already a groove here, I'm just cutting right into it. And I don't need to cut too much. That's the other beautiful thing about this. Is I'm just going to, and I'm going to keep following a line, but there. I'm going to come in and cut out a section this way. And burlap does not need to be exact because you're going to pull apart the pieces anyway, which is what I love about it. I love the rustic feel of the whole thing. I have so much crap on the floor around me, it's not even funny. Okay, so what I mean by I'm going to kind of fake it out a little bit is I'm going to slice this in half. And I'm going to pull apart little ends here. And then all I have to do is do a little tuck there. And I do a little tuck on this side, and I even cut more than I needed to. I didn't even need to cut as much as I did because you're not going to see any more than just those little pieces. Just like that, see? Just a tiny, tiny little bit. Ta-da! Real hard, right? I'm going to break out my corner rounder and actually round this little guy, which means I got to re-ink it again. Now, this is not part of the kit, but it is something that I think is going to go quite well, and I'm probably going to use parts of it, so I'm going to keep it with it. This is from Paper House, and it's just got a lot of really pretty stickers, and they kind of go along with the feel of what's already there. And it also has letters and numbers. And right now, I really need some numbers on here. And I really need to put like the year on here. And I know it's not a perfect match, but you know, I've got a lot of different reds going on, so I'm kind of cool with that. So I'm going to put the 2017 on here because that's what year this December daily is. Okay, so I'm just going to rest this right along the bottom here. And I'm going to use the marking on here as my help. So again, it's not a perfect match, and that's fine with me. We're going to have a lot of fun stuff. And I'm going to be pulling some other products that are going to go in. I still feel like it needs a little bit more. It's not done yet. All right, I feel like it needs another layer, another pop of color, and I have this little teeny wee bit of the snowflake paper left. So I'm going to cut and kind of mimic what I've already done on this side, but I'm going to layer it in between. So this was 4 inches. I'm going to make this 3. So I'll just keep on going down by an inch. Come in with my scissors again. Don't worry about how perfect that is because it's going to go right in here, which means I can also fit it, see how it fits like that, in between the 2 dots right there. And which side was my clean? This is my good side. It's going to come right out to the edge. Center. It just gives another layer of something going on. Just needed a 3rd layer. I love doing layers. All right, now to glue the whole thing together. I'm going to get a good quality craft glue just to glue everything down. I'm going to use my best glue ever from Scrap Perfects to stick it all down. So I'm just going to go ahead and use this to glue everything down. Yeah, I've had these little gem crystals. These ones are from Prima. These are from 2009. There's a lot of stuff I have that's really old, and I just maybe on the corners. And I like, which one do I want to go with? I'm going to go with this green one right here. And right in the middle, there's 4 that they're the same size. Hoping they still have decent stick because they are not new. I'm going to go back. I'm just going to pull them off. Their sticky part is, I'm afraid, as I work on this, it's going to lose its stick. So I'm going to get them on here, and then I'm going to use just a little dab of this best glue ever because it's got a nice fine tip point to make sure that it's on there. And that way they won't pop off. Because this book's going to get moved around, my kids are going to want to look at it, and it's there. It just kind of looks like it adds a little something. So I'm just going to add a tiny bit of glue to make sure that these little guys, and I missed a little corner right here, you know, that kind of stuff, just to hold everything down. So now I'm going to keep this in with my kit as well, because I'm probably going to come back and add a few more. The colors seem to grow. I don't have a lot of green, so it'll add that little pop of green in here. And it's got light and dark green, which means I'm having the hardest time. There we go. Couldn't get the little sticky part in there. So this is my front cover, my 2017. It's got a little bit of something. And now on the inside of this, we are going to add, let's do the truck. Okay, so we're going to add the truck. And I'm going to leave this plain to begin with. So open it up. And here's the fun part, is I can put something here, which are my two little envelopes. But guess what? I have this whole space right down here that I can do something fun. And I'm going to go ahead and do that part today. And go ahead and add in my first 2 days. And then add something kind of fun in here. And I'm going to leave the truck blank. If I want to come back in and color it later, I can. I mean, it's easy to come in and just watercolor paint with this. I can add something to it, but for right now, I think I'm going to leave it. All right, so I have these little tags still left from when I did a couple other projects. I've used the tags when I did my little treat bags that you see up here. And I am just going to go ahead and trim. So I have a nice little tag. And this is the fun part about all these pieces in the kit, is that you can just take bits and pieces of them and then you're set to go. All right, so I got to use for this little guy. I like to layer. It's just me. I love to do layering. And I have these sticking out here. Now, this is from the Architectures line. And these are these fun little doilies, which you can use the whole thing as one. But I just want to use one doily out of this whole thing. And we're going to mount it in the back here. Now, it's not going to be super green, but it definitely has some hints of it on there. So it's kind of fun. It's just light little hints of some green on there. Nothing big, just a little hint of it. And now I'm going to cut this guy in half. There we go. Now, just as a comparison, this is why I have the hardest time. I lose everything. It's not a huge difference. It's a very slight green. It's not a big deal, but a tiny bit. And again, I ink. I'm an inker. Come in. Ink all my edges. And this is also why I save some of these little scraps, because sometimes you just need that little titch of something to go in your book and you're good to go. And then I'm also going to ink the edges of this. Now for this, I am going to use a tape runner because I really don't need to get wet glue out for this part. So come in, line this up. If a little bit gets on my paper and it adds to it, I kind of like that feel, which is why I will just use my tape runner right over top of the project. And like this. Naughty or nice. And then here, I'm going to grab my two little doilies. So I didn't cinch that very well. There we go. It all sticks down. Pull out my little doilies, put one on this side like that, and one on this side like this. There, just a little something in the bottom there. Now, the other thing I do is I'm going to add a 1 and a 2 to this. And again, if I want to come back and paint this later, I can, but I definitely want to add a 1 and a 2 to that scenario right there. So I'm going to come in. I have some other stickers. I'm just going to use the same stickers. I'm going to see if I have anything left. It's a 1. I have a 1 and a 2. I have exactly 1 left. Use up what I got. And then I have a 3 and a 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then I'm going to have to go to something else, which is fine. If I end up doubling up and using different stickers from different times. But I don't want to leave these just as a 1 and a 2 in the middle of this. It looks really plain. So another set of stickers I have are planner stickers. And it's kind of fun is that they're meant to go on a planner, just like this. And so why not take one of these stickers and use it and put my number on there, you know? So let's layer up some stickers. Here I'm going to take this guy. It's going to go right smack in the middle here. And then to add a little dimension, I can take this little piece. And then I can put my little number 1 on top of that. I'm just layering up some stickers. It gives a little bit of something on there. So let's kind of go with the same concept. I want to use the word notes. but we can do the stars. The stars are kind of fun. And I can put the 2 in the middle of the star. It's okay. I like the first way I did it better. It's okay. I might come back and change that. I mean, it's not set in stone. I can always rip that off and start over again. But that's the first one. So I'm going to fold this up. These are my first 2 days. I'm going to go ahead and add this in. And this one I am going to glue down again. All right, so now to kind of lay out the gist, and I'm going to punch in the holes for the rest of it, is I'm going to go ahead and lay out kind of the feel that I want to do for the rest of the book. So I have my next one, and for this guy, I don't think I'm going to put a folder. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 folders. So I'm going to spread them out. I don't want to have it folder, 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 because that looks kind of silly. I want to spread it out a little bit. Sometimes I just want to put the paper bags on here and just leave it at that. I might map this with a sheet of paper, so when I come to that day, I'll do that. Again, I'm going to leave this one as a blank and not put a folder there. Then I have my insert of paper. I'm going to go ahead and line this up right now, actually, to punch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay this down. I'm going to flip it over. No, because I want it like this. Flip this over, get a pencil, and I'm going to outline where this is. And if I end up backing this with another sheet of paper, I'll just back it and then repunch it. So I'm going to set this now to the largest setting. This is my big bite, and there is a really good punch right there. You could use a regular punch. I always pull this out whenever I'm doing punching because it works really, really well. So punch and punch. And I have a second sheet back here, so I'm going to go ahead and pull this out. Line it just underneath of it. And then just repunch in that same spot. And hopefully I got it right on the first try. So I've got this guy in here. And I did a really good job on that. Okay, so now I have my next one, and so I'm going to put another folder here, change it up, and do this folder on this side. And just to make things life not consistent, inconsistent, I'm going to put this folder here. And notice I've got the same pattern that matched with the front, which is kind of fun. Come in with this insert, which I have my punches now. And then I can come in here. Now, I already did this side, so I'm actually going to flip this folder. It's going to go in this direction. I still have to add in all of my other little tabs. So I use the truck, so I'm going to flip this over and we're going to have it on this way. Nothing here. And then I don't remember which one I did, but as I come to it, I'll remember. So there's that. So now I got to go through and add in. Got one. You know what? I'm going to do something a little different on the last day. I have a big baggie, so it means I'm going to have one extra bag, which is absolutely fine. So I have a big bag I'm going to add for the last day. I've got these 2 bags here, so 25. So I can count backwards. It's 1. So I already have one in there. Okay, so 2, 3. Have one, remember I had one other section and I don't know where it's going to go, and I might end up flipping and flopping as I go along, but that's giving me 25 bags, and I do have one section that is actually a blank. So this has got bags, you can see, but now I can put bags on this side and then leave this side blank, or I could have the bags on this side and leave this side blank. I mean, or I could shift it and I could put something here. I mean, I can play with that. So that is where that is going. Trying to keep everything in here so that way when it comes time for me to make it, all the pieces are in and I can just open up to that day. And I am not. I was thinking I was going to put the rings on, but then I'd have to undo the rings every time. But I am going to do one other thing. We're going to rubber band this puppy so that way I don't lose all my little bits and pieces. I also have this sheet, which I'm actually going to cut before, and then I can just slide it in. So I'm going to go ahead and rubber band this, so whenever I'm ready to do this next time, just ready to go. See, so now it's all in here. I can pull it apart. These I'll just put, I have a bag that all this stuff is going to go in. It's actually a bag that I've just stuffed my entire kit into. So whenever I want to do the next project in my kit, I just pull out that bag, and so that's where all this stuff is going to go back in. But I know specifically this piece is going to go on the back. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that down. I just cut it down to the same thing. I'm going to slide this in. I cut this down to the same thing, which I took a half an inch off of both sides. That way it would fit and have a little bit of an extra border. And I might change that up. I don't know. You know, I might do something more similar to what I did on the front side with my little layers and my clips and stuff. So I can actually, so I don't lose these, I'll put one ring inside of the other, and then I'll just clip this to my rubber band. And then I won't lose them. Aha. So this is the beginning of my December daily, and we've already done the first, and as you can see, and I'll take there's close-up pictures, you already saw them, of what each one looks like. And now about the giveaway. So you can win a kit, and so think about this, pretty much everything minus the stickers that went in this book is in the kits. A lot of the papers, the burlap pieces, the bags, the little doily piece, I mean, all that stuff, and then minus the ink as well. But all that stuff is in there, which is pretty darn cool. So how can you get your hands on it? Just leave a comment on this video. It's pretty simple. This is video number 5 about how I've used this kit. If you want to have extra entries into winning the kit, go back to the other videos, and the playlist is at the end, and it's also up on the iCard, and leave a comment on all the other videos. It gives your name another entry into the hat, or into the big bowl of all the names, for your chance to win. So instead of just having 1 entry, you could have up to 5 now. So that's pretty cool. All the details about when you need to leave your comments and stuff are down below, but it ends on November 12th, and I will be drawing the winner shortly thereafter that. So just go check all the bottom information. Links to everything is down below as well. And don't forget, there's some other people who are part of this December daily collaboration. There's a few of us that are doing it, so go check them out. They have some pretty cool ideas. Mine is a completely different take on everybody else's. Everybody's got a different idea for December daily, and that's what's fun about it. So thanks so much. Please subscribe. Good luck on the giveaway, and have a very merry holidays. Bye-bye.